In 3, 2, 1. What's goody in the hoodie, everybody? On today's episode, I'm coming at you with another solo pod. So with that being said, I have no special guest today. It's just gonna be me, myself, and I. For all of my Spotify listeners, I apologize for the last few episodes. Episode 4, does not happen to be on Spotify, and that is for the reasoning of my microphone has not been working as of lately. And I think I've kind of figured out and managed the problem, but we'll see in further episodes. So you might get some episodes that have better audio than others, but I'm gonna try my best to put every single episode I'm putting on YouTube on Spotify. With that being said, I think I fixed the problem for today's episode, so everything should be okay. For my YouTube listeners, same thing for y'all. Y'all will normally not get the sound of the microphone on the videos. The first ever episode was perfectly fine. Everything went to plan, and then as soon as we started editing other episodes, the audios wouldn't line up, and it was just this whole thing. So I'm in the process of figuring that out. A lot of this podcast stuff is kind of trial and error for me so far. I'm just trying to navigate it and figure out the best solutions and the quickest solutions. So with that being said, today's episode is again a solo pod. I told y'all I was going to be doing a couple of these here and there. And for the most part, I like doing solo pods because I don't necessarily have to stop. I don't have to ask a question. I don't have to do all of the extra things that I have to do when I have special guests. I love having special guests on here. I love talking to them. I love getting different perspectives on different different topics, not opinions, but I do love doing solo pods, and today is going to be a solo pod, and I am super excited because today we are going to get into the story of my brother and I. If y'all do not know, my brother is Keegan Michael Ferreira, and he is 19 years old. I am 20 years old. We are Irish twins. We were born in the same year of 2003. So I just turned 20 on February 15th, and he will be 20 December 22nd. You guys will hopefully be able to see my brother on a podcast soon as he comes home May 13th, I believe. And I just wanted to give a special shout out to my brother. I know he's fucking watching this shit. Whether he's by himself or with his teammates, hey y'all, how's it going? I just wanted to give this special shout out to him, because he's kind of been my motivation for this podcast. As y'all know, I haven't really been posting to the best of my abilities, as of late. And like I said, and like just in the description and like when I posted it on my Snap and my Instagram, life kind of hits you sometimes and you have to learn to navigate, and kind of switch your priorities. And this podcast was not at the top of my priority list for a minute. And my brother, knowing how long I've been wanting to do this podcast, he's just kind of been my motivation, and he's been pushing me to really put my all into this podcast and stay frequent, and stay motivated with it. And so I just wanted to give my brother this huge shout out, because without him, I really don't think that I would be continuing this podcast. Because again, it's kind of been on the bottom of my priority list, and I've just really not made time for it or had any time for it. So y'all can thank my brother for all of that stuff in regards to the podcast. He's also been a very big motivation the past couple months with myself and just kind of keeping myself afloat. He's a big reason that I'm getting back into soccer. He's a big reason why I am pushing myself to get back into shape for soccer. He's a big reason I'm going back to school. I guess you could say my brother is really my best friend. which is kind of funny because throughout this pod, you'll see that we have really gone through it, and we've kind of been through the ringer, and there's been a lot of highs and lows for my brother and I, but I'm really proud of him. He goes to University of Hawaii at no, I'm stupid. That's my dream school, is University of Hawaii at Manoa. He goes to University of Hawaii at Hilo, and he plays soccer there. And he's doing really, really well. He's doing good in school. He's doing good on the field. He's putting in the work. And he's really getting his future in check, and he's on the right path. And couldn't be prouder to be his sister, to be honest, because as y'all also may know, we are the only two, I guess you could say, children in the house. We're each other's only sibling. And again, I wouldn't have it any other way. I grew up with only guys. And that would be one of them being my brother. And I grew up with Frankie, Trevor, and Justin. They are my cousins on my dad's side. And we kind of just grew up with them, and we were kind of raised by my grandfather, Avu, which is my dad's dad. And he took care of us when we were really young, and we were over there every single day. And, yeah, I grew up with all guys, so that's kind of where I get my mentality from, and I kind of get that, I don't know, I get a little bit of, like, I give off tomboyish vibes, and I give off the vibe that I'm a bro, which I've gotten from many people. But again, that is because I have been surrounded by boys all my life. Love them, don't get me wrong, but it would have been nice to have a little bit of sparkle of girls here and there. But I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest. I am so close to each and every one of them, and I love them to pieces. And you know, family, we rock together, for life. But oh, for my YouTube listeners, I came across these pictures, and it was last year, I can't remember what month, my brother had a game against Point Loma Nazarene University, and everybody who knew him came. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people, his family, his friends, everybody, we all went and supported him. And I found these pictures. He might kill me, but I put these on a poster, and I just made a poster. And we also made a poster for Platt, his friend out there who kind of has shown him the ropes. And we actually, fun fact, met Platt when they were in town for that game. And we love Platt. Platt is a great human. Everything and more in a human. But he's been really good to my brother. He showed my brother the ropes. He's kind of been like a big brother to my brother. And so it kind of makes me feel good as a big sister, knowing that my brother never really went through anything alone at school, especially being that he's literally across the ocean, like 2,506 miles away or something like that. I think that's what it is. And so that was one thing I was really scared of going into my brother going to college, was that he wasn't really going to have a good support system, and he wasn't going to have somebody who necessarily looked out for him besides himself. And Platt came in and did just that. So big props to Platt. My brother also has a solid group of friends out in Hawaii now, which I'm so grateful for. Again, as a big sister, that's all you really want for your younger sibling, is just people that you know are genuine and support your brother through thick and thin, especially when you can't be there to be that support system for them. And so big props to all of those guys that have helped my brother kind of navigate his first year of college. I know for a fact, I believe he wants to go back and he is going to go back, which is always something that, you try to navigate whether after your first year you're staying or not. And I think my brother's built a really good foundation out there, and I really think he's going to stay. And I couldn't be prouder of him. And anyways, that's enough of me rambling. We're going to get into the story of my brother and I. Where do I even start, dude? Like, I can't even pinpoint. Like, there's been a lot that me and my brother have gone through as siblings. Like I said, me and my brother are Irish twins. We are 10 months apart. So you would think from birth we kind of would have been close from there on out, but that is not really how things went. My brother can kind of attest to that. But I actually wrote, let me see if I could find it. I wrote a kind of like goodbye letter to my brother. But I never read it to him, I don't think, and I don't think he's ever heard it. So we'll see. But I'm gonna read it to y'all, and then I'm kind of gonna go off of this because everything that I wrote in this is kind of a lot of the story of me and my brother. So let's get right into this one, shall we? I know change is a part of life. I mean, I've been saying it all along, but I am scared. Yes, I realize that everyone is afraid of change, but for me, change is all I've really ever known. You would think I would have gotten used to it by now, but at this moment, things are different. 4 people who mean a lot to me are going off to college. Frankie is going to Regis in Colorado, Trevor's going off to Oregon, Talia is going off to Boise, and Keegan, my only sibling, my only brother, is going off to Hilo in Hawaii. Just a little disclaimer. Sorry, y'all, I'm interrupting this reading, but this letter was right before my brother was leaving for college. So I kind of just wrote everything down and got all of my emotions out about my brother, my only sibling, leaving. But anyways, back to the reading. My brother and I have not always had the perfect sibling relationship. When we were younger, we were close. I picked on him when he was a baby, and I taunted him as I walked when he could only crawl. I would watch him in his jumper and quite literally poke him. As we got older, things changed. He wasn't the kid I could poke in a jumper anymore. In fact, he became the kid who would poke at me. We would fight and fight until someone, usually me, ended up in tears. In elementary school, you would think people would look at him and say, "Oh, that's Malea's brother." However, that's not how it went. In fact, people would look at me and say, "Hey, that's Keegan's sister." Even now, I still get the question, "You're Keegan's sister, right?" For a long time, I hated when people would ask me that. I always thought, how ridiculous is it that I am the older sibling and everyone thinks of me as Keegan's sister? But over the past few years, I have loved receiving that question. The reason being is that I'm proud to be my brother's sister. Now, continuing on through middle school, my brother and I stayed close, but it was really only ever shown at home. We didn't hang out with the same people, and we didn't talk to each other as much in the halls. We would simply just walk past each other as if we were strangers. We would do our own thing at home and get rides to practice from our mom. And when I went into my freshman year of high school, he had 1 more year to finish in middle school. You can imagine how our interactions were then. So, going into high school, I didn't expect for things to be different. Keegan was now a freshman, and I was a sophomore. However, things became different. I truly do not know when or how, but we weren't so little anymore. We started having some of the same friends, and we started to talk about life and things like girls he found pretty and the guys I thought were too good to be true. We were close again. Jump forward another year. I was a junior and Keegan a sophomore. This is where things really started to change. March 13th, 2020, COVID-19, quarantine. There we were in the peak of our lives. High school, which was supposed to be seen as the best days of our lives, stripped beneath our feet. We had no choice but to stay home and be with our family. No friends, no beach. Nothing but spending 24/7 in our homes with our family. In the beginning of quarantine, Keegan and I kept our distance because, hell, we were going to be back at school after 2 weeks, right? We did our own things as we used to and talked occasionally. When we realized we weren't going back to school and there was a really serious problem going on in the world, we started talking more. Besides, there was nothing else we could do. We FaceTimed friends on huge group FaceTimes and stayed up past 12, which at the time we were not used to. We didn't have to do assignments to get our grades up because our grades were already okay. We would hang out, just us two, and joke and talk for hours. We went to the store with homemade masks with our parents, and we went on long walks, which we can both attest that we hated those walks for a while. Keegan and I were close again, just like it was when we were kids. Don't get me wrong, he still won't hug me or tell me he loves me, but I learned to accept it. Now, come my senior year in high school, Keegan a junior, we were extremely close. We were hanging out with friends again, going to the beach and messing around at Henry. It stayed this way until one event that I will not state, but if you know, you know. This event caused my brother to not talk to me for 2 months and blame me for something. Again, if you know, you know. I was so lost for those 2 months. I couldn't understand how my own brother, who I had grown up with and practically spent every day for the last 18 years with, shunned me out of his life. I would sit and I would ask myself, why does he hate me so much? You may be wondering what happened after those 2 months that got him to talk to me again. To be honest with you, I have no idea whatsoever. But I learned one thing, and that one thing led me to finally understand who my brother was as a person. My brother, Keegan Michael Ferreira, aka Killa K, is a caring, strong, independent guy who some may say does not have or show emotion, but he does. Just not in the ways that I show my emotions. Me, I wear my emotions on my sleeve, 25/8, but Keegan keeps to himself. This does not mean that he does not care. I used to say that, I'm not going to say this name, sorry, disclaimer, I'm not going to say this name because it's, Anyway, someone who once meant the world to me saved my life. In reality, it was my brother who saved my life. My brother can change the mood I'm in a matter of seconds just by saying something stupid that he knows will make me laugh. He has been there through all of my really high highs and all of my really low lows. He has been my personal Uber driver the past few years, and most of all, he's grown into someone I look up to. He may be 10 months younger than me, but he is one of the people I look up to the most. I've always wanted to be the soccer player he still is, and I have always wanted to be the person people are so drawn to. That is who my brother is. My brother may not wear his emotions on his sleeve or give gifts half as much as I do, but he is hands down one of the best people I know. I'm so proud to be his sister, and I couldn't ask for a better little brother to torment and annoy every day. As I look back on all of the memories we have had, I start to feel a really weird feeling. This weird feeling comes from the realization that the good old days are over. Real life is beginning. The weird feeling? Oh yeah. The weird feeling is that I'm not going to have my brother every day anymore, and dare I say, I'm going to miss him. I can't imagine waking up and having an empty room next to mine or not hearing about my McDonald's hairline and gigantic forehead. My brother, my stubborn, annoying, and irritating little brother, I am beyond proud of you. You're going to do great things, and I can't wait to watch you keep growing into the person you want to be. I love you, dumbass. Woo! That was a long one. But, that was just a little glimpse into the story of my brother and I. Let's kind of start at the beginning of this. As I stated, me and my brother were really close when we were younger. I think that was because we spent every single waking moment with each other, because we really didn't have any other choice. Again, I wouldn't have it any other way, but I know that as soon as my brother and I grew up, he was going to kind of detached from me a little bit because we did spend every waking second with each other, and you know how that is. Like, you get annoyed by somebody when you're with them for too long. Excuse me. And I think that that's really what happened. I think that as me and my brother grew up, instead of growing closer, we kind of grew apart, which again isn't really a problem. But for me, I was the polar opposite from him, and I wanted to be with my brother 24/7. And my brother was just, a dude who didn't really want his sister riding his coattails everywhere he went. And like I said, it was kind of funny because growing up when we were in elementary school, everybody would come up to me and be like, "Oh, you're Keegan's sister, right?" You would honestly think that it would be the other way around, considering I am the older one and I was a grade above him. Because although me and my brother are only 10 months apart, we're not in the same grade. He graduated high school in 2022 and I graduated 2021. So we were one grade apart. And so all of the people in his grade would come up to me and ask me, "Oh, you're Keegan's sister, right?" Or even people that were older than me, like it was mostly guys that had played soccer with him, but they would be like, "Oh, you're Keegan's sister, right?" And I'm like, "Bro, are you kidding me? Like, I'm supposed to be the older sibling that knows everybody and like introduces them to my younger sibling," but it was never like that, and it was the polar opposite. That was most of our life. I still, to this day, get that question, which is kind of funny. But I really do like getting that question, because then I'm like, yeah, I am Keegan's sister. What about it? And whereas I used to be like, oh, yeah, I guess I am. But I don't know. Me and my brother, in 2020, more so, we got really, really close. And then the incident happened. And the incident did involve a girl. You could have guessed it. And I was really lost for words, because the whole situation, like, me and him still have disagreements on the whole situation, but obviously we're past it. We're matured. Like, we were able to admit our wrongs, more so me, because apparently I was more in the wrong than the girl was, but it's whatever. I know where I went wrong, and I was able to admit that, and that was just kind of end of discussion. We really didn't talk about it much after that, except for like recently when he was home. Like, we had a couple arguments about it, but it was just the little disagreements within the thing. They weren't really huge arguments. But then again, it's brother and sister. Like, you're gonna freaking argue. And it's kind of funny because my parents, to this day, think that me and my brother argue all the time, and we really don't. Like, we don't argue that often. We quote unquote argue, but it's literally just my brother poking fun at me and knowing how to push my buttons. So that's how we get into quote unquote arguments. And a lot of the time, they're not even arguments, they're just like us making fun of each other, and it literally ends in us dying laughing because of these things that are being said. But again, I really wouldn't have it any other way. Like, me and my brother are so close at this point. And actually, hold on, I have something to say, y'all. In that piece of writing, I said that my brother still won't hug me and he still won't tell me he loves me. But don't get me wrong, he still doesn't hug me, but my brother is just not very affectionate in that way. He's not a hugger. He isn't going to go out of his way to hug you and touch you, and he really doesn't like being touched anyway. Like, at family functions, like, he'll go up to my family and like give them hugs when they walk through the door, obviously, because that's common courtesy. But he won't go out of his way to hug you, And there's people like Jaden, who's one of our best friends, who is the total opposite. Like, he gives everybody hugs constant. Like, he's a lover. And my brother is more so of like, don't touch me. Like, I have my boundaries, I have my space, and that's just how my brother's always been. He's never been that super, like, lovey-dovey, like he doesn't necessarily like the emotional side of things, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. It's perfectly fine. But it's kind of hard when you are the total opposite and all you've ever wanted is to get a hug from your brother. Literally, when he left to college, on the morning he left to go to Hilo and move into his little apartment with his roommate, we didn't hug. He hugged everybody else, but I literally have a video. I have the video. We dapped each other up. Like, we said, all right. I said, sayonara. That's what I said. I said sayonara, and we dapped each other up, and he left. But that's kind of just always how it's been. Like, quite honestly, I don't even know if I would want to hug my brother. Like, there'd be certain moments where, like, after not seeing my brother for a long time, where I'm gonna want to fucking hug my brother. Is it gonna happen? Probably not. But, you know, it's always the want. But anyways, on my birthday this year, I turned 20. I am now 20. I am no longer a teen. But my brother actually sent me a snap. Let me see if I could find it. He sent me a snap, and I think he was one of the first ones to tell me happy birthday, but he snapped me. Y'all are gonna get the sneak peek on YouTube, but I'll just read it for y'all on Spotify. This is the picture I got, and it says, "Happy birthday, you fuck. Love you." I saved that in the chat, and oh, I'm sorry. That was probably very federal, what I just did. Sorry. Not for y'all Spotify listeners, but my YouTube listeners, that was probably very federal, because that was all of my brother and I's saved chats in Snap. But, anyways, yeah, that's what he sent me on my birthday, and literally at 12:03 in the morning, he was one of the first ones to send me a happy birthday thing, and, it was that, and I literally started bawling like a baby, because I can't tell you the last time I ever heard my brother tell me, or seen my brother type, "love you." And I know, you guys are gonna say it's not "I love you," like da 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 da, but it's something. It's "love you." Like, it's the same thing. But I literally saved it in the chat, and I saved it to my camera roll, and that's all I was showing people all throughout the day. I was showing my grandparents, I was showing my mom, my dad. I was like, oh my God, I was crying like a baby at 12:03 in the morning. But it was a really sweet moment, because I love my brother. Like, I say it all the time. I adore the shit out of my brother. My brother's my best friend. Like, I love him to death. But he has never really said something like that before. Because, again, he's not really the super emotional type. He doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeves like I do. But, I don't know. Just something about it. It really just, it made me smile. And I was really happy. And that was probably the only, like, I had seen people throughout the day, and people brought me flowers. Shout out to Nikki Hayes. I love that girl so much. She showed up at my house with a beautiful bouquet of flowers just to say happy birthday to me. And that was the sweetest thing ever. But I'd say the thing that made my day was my brother sending me that at 12:03 in the morning. So it started off my day beautifully, and it just continued to brighten up my day, because bringing it up and showing it to people and being like, oh my God, like, my brother fucking said I love you, like, it really, me saying it doesn't sound like a big deal, but if you know my brother and you know our relationship, you know that it's been a while since he said something that nice to me. I know the happy birthday you fuck thing is just, but that's just also me and my brother's relationship. Like, we call each other fucks, we call each other fuck faces, assholes, dickheads, like, there's so much things that we call each other, and that's just our relationship. And if you've seen me and my brother, like, together in public, or even come to our house, like, or if you're one of our close friends, you've seen the way me and my brother are. We're jokesters. We joke around with each other. And I think we've also gotten to those ages where nothing that one another says to each other really affects us in a negative way, you know? Because a lot of the things we say are jokes and we are able to take it as jokes now. I will admit, I am the sibling that could never take a joke. Now more so, I've kind of built up a little bit of a thicker skin, because I was raised around all boys, and I have grown up with my best friends being all guys. That's just how it is. But to say the least, me and my brother, we've been through the ringer. We've had a lot of loss. We've had a lot of things that we've watched each other go through. I'll say this because it was kind of my incident, but sorry, I'm getting a little shaky with this one. But there was this one incident in particular that's kind of standing out in my brain right now, and I want to make these podcasts like as real as possible, you know? And I want to come off as like real to the viewers. But in 2020, I went through probably some of the lowest points of my life. And when I say lowest points in my life, I was on the verge of ending it all. And I had a few friends who were my friends, and I considered them best friends. And I went through some things where I ended up cutting off all my friends because at the time I didn't believe that I deserved friendship. I didn't believe I deserved love. I didn't think I deserved anything, because that's how bad my depression and my anxiety was getting. And at the time, I didn't even know I had any of this because I didn't even really know what depression or anxiety was because I had never felt that low. And a lot of people can relate to that, I think, in 2020, because that, again, is when quarantine happened. But I had one friend in particular. He knows who he is. He was my best friend. He was my first love, later down the road. He was my person for 3.5 years, and he got me through a lot. I don't know if I'd still be here without him, but I really think that it's not that I give him too much credit, because he deserves all the credit in the world for being there for me and showing up when I needed him, even though I had said some horrible things to him in order to push him away. But my brother, oh God, okay. My brother saw me at these lowest moments, and in particular, this friend, my best friend at the time, he called my brother because I had told him some things that I was going to do to myself. And he called my brother, and my brother ran into my room, and I was underneath my covers, and I wasn't showing my face, and I was just bawling my eyes out. And my brother bursted into my room. He was like, Maleia, like, he was just trying to cheer me up because he didn't really know what else to do. He was like, Maleia, I have your friends on the phone. Like, say hi. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, talk to me. And I ended up coming clean about something I had done to myself. And my brother went and got my mom, and my mom came into my room, and I showed her what I had done to myself. I was using self-harm as a scapegoat to escape reality and try to feel something, because at the time I felt so numb and I felt like I was immune to feeling emotions. I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of you, but I know that a lot of y'all who struggle daily with depression and anxiety know exactly what I'm talking about. I was just really numb at this point, and I told my therapist, because I ended up having to go, or not having to, but I ended up choosing to go to therapy after this. And I wasn't doing it to try to, you know, end my life. I was doing it so that I could feel something, and I was going through a lot, and my brother saw me physically going through these things. And there was a lot of moments like that where I would be drowning in, oh my God, drowning in these emotions, and my brother was constantly there. He would push me to get out of the house. He would push me to go hang out with people. He would make fun of me to try and make me laugh. He would come into my room late nights and just sit in there with me and dance with me, and listen to some weird thing about broccoli. Like, I couldn't tell you, but there was this video, and it was broccoli and like pumpkin, like all this shit. And he would put that on, and we'd laugh, and then he'd make TikToks. And I have so many videos from just 2020 as a whole, because my brother, little did he know, was a very big part of me coming out of that hole that I was in. I'm not even sure he knows this, but him just coming into my room late at night helped me immensely. Like, I felt so alone for so long. And when he started doing that and showing up for me, it made me realize that I wasn't alone in what I was feeling, and I wasn't alone as a whole. So as much as I say that my best friend at the time was the reason I got out of all of that, which he was, I'm not taking away any of the credit to him at all, because he was there for me through so much. But my brother has been there for me since we were kids, you know? Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna see if I can turn on this freaking ring light, because I cannot see shit. And it's very, very dark in this room. Okay, maybe that's a little better. I don't know. The video quality might be ass, because it's kind of getting dark. But anyways, my brother was there from jump, never left, never could really, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, there was those moments where my brother would just walk into my room, and I'd feel a sense of safe. It's like, this is my home. Like, I feel safe. And I'd feel a sense of like freedom almost. Freedom from my thoughts, freedom from my depression, freedom from all of my worries. And I don't tell him enough, but I really do appreciate him for that, because as much as I used to say that my best friend was the reason that I am still here today, my brother was is the reason I'm still here today. And I never really wanted to say that, because, me and my brother, he's not the emotional person, so I really didn't want to feed his ego too much. But now I'm gonna give it to you, brother. You were a big part in me staying alive and me staying on this earth. There it is. Feeding your ego. I know you're watching this, so I'm feeding your ego just a tad, but I don't know, man. Like, me and my brother have gone through loss. We lost our grandma Lena last year, and she was a big part of our life for a long time. She was our step-great-grandmother, and as much as, step-great-grandmother, as much as that sounds like she wasn't really involved, she was involved in our lives from jump. She's a big reason that we are somewhat, we're gonna say somewhat, or just a tad bit, financially stable. She helped us a lot financially, and she helped us in connecting with more parts of our family. She was just a big reason why, because we have a lot of cousins on my mom's side, and she was the glue that kind of brought everybody together. And so we lost her last year. She was very old. She lived a long, happy life. And we lost her last year, and before that, we ooh, this one's gonna get me. Also in holy shit. Also in May of 2020, we lost our cousin Jake at the age of 21. He was very young. He had just turned 21 in December, in the year before December. And we thought he'd be around a lot longer than he ended up being around for. Oh my god, why is this hitting me like a bus right now? But he was a big part of me and my brother's life. He more so my brother, because him and my brother were the only two boys on my mom's side, because it's me, Michaela, Presley, and Gianna as the girls, and then it was Keegan and Jake, and those were the only boys. And so my brother is now the only boy on my mom's side, and I know that my brother, oh my god, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm kind of breaking down. But I know my brother went through a lot with that, because him and Jake were really close. And they were like brothers. And Jake was the only, like, older, not even older, like, the only brother figure that my brother really had to look up to. And when we lost him, I know that it hit my brother like a truck. And, it hit our whole family kind of like a truck, because Jake was the oldest, and he was the firstborn of the grandchildren from my gaga. And he was the firstborn of that side of our family. I'm so sorry. I'm like falling apart. But it's been a minute since I've talked about Jake, so I'm kind of falling apart at the seams a little bit. But my brother kind of kept to himself for a while when it came to Jake's passing. And for a while, I just wanted my brother to open up. I wanted him to talk about it. But now, more so, I understand why he didn't. God damn it, this shit is hitting me like a bus. I'm sorry. Oh, let's get it together for a second here. I'm like, my tears are kind of dripping down my face and ruining my mascara a little bit. I'm so sorry, guys. It's just been a minute since I've actually talked about Jake. And trust me, there will be an episode where I dedicate all of it to Jake, but oh god, I'm sorry. Whew, I kind of was breaking apart at the seams there. But my brother went through a lot with that particular loss. We haven't really had any loss in our family except for Jake. And the fact of the matter is, we lost Jake at such a young age that I think we expected him to be around a lot longer than he was around for. And again, it just hit our family like a bus. And mother of Jesus. But my brother went through a lot with that loss, and I know that he kind of kept it to himself. And there were times where I was like, God damn, this kid just needs to open up. Like, he just needs to let it out. Like, he needs to cry. Like, da-da-da. But the fact of the matter is, my brother did cry. He just wasn't the type of person that was going to cry in front of everybody. And he was very good at hiding his emotions and acting like he was okay. And I think that's what kind of showed me that my brother is a lot stronger than I thought he was. Don't get me wrong. I already know my brother is much stronger than me. But that particular moment where I finally had it click in my brain that my brother was so strong, and he was able to kind of pit his emotions to kind of just be there for everybody else. I don't know. That whole thing to me, it blew my mind. And I realized that my brother is not so much of like an emotionless person. He's just a quiet, emotional person. And he's not gonna fall apart at the seams and start bawling his eyes out in front of people that he doesn't know. You know what I mean? Whereas me, I can't hide my emotions. And I'm not saying hiding your emotions is good, but if you're doing it in a healthy way where you are pitting your emotions and then letting it out later, that's a little bit different, at least in my opinion. But that whole scenario, just losing Jake, showed me a lot about my brother. Because again, me and my brother haven't really had any loss or huge loss in our family. And so I think losing Jake was kind of a big wake-up call. Like, damn, like, your life could be taken at any moment. And that whole thing just showed me how truly strong my brother is, and showed me that my brother does have emotions. Because for a while, I think everybody thought that my brother was emotionless, and he didn't have any emotions at all. Which he does. Trust me, he does. He really does. Anyway, I don't know. I have a lot of respect for my brother, and I think my brother is one of the strongest mentally and physically people I know. And he really does not get enough credit for the things that he does for people. But moving on from that, there was also another incident that's kind of popping up in my head right now. And it's the fact that my brother does so much for other people, dude. Like, so much. I thought I was somebody who did way too much for other people, or like just was constantly there for other people when other people would kind of just be the ones putting them down, you know? But my brother, it has kind of been the same way. My brother kind of has that I don't give a fuck attitude, but deep down I know he does. But there's this one particular person who my brother has done so much for. Like, he's probably done the most for this person out of anybody. And this person does not really give him credit. This person has kind of put him through the ringer. This person has shown him time and time again why my brother shouldn't put any effort towards him. But at the end of the day, my brother has a huge heart. And as much as he tries to close that off and not show that to a lot of people, he does have a very, very big heart. And he loves very hard, and he loves very deeply. I think that's kind of where... Wait a minute, I don't get it from him. He gets it from me. But he's a great human, and like everybody is so drawn to my brother. Like my brother, as soon as he walks into a room, everybody's drawn to him, because my brother's a very much like, oh, I'm gonna lay back, I'm gonna chill, I'm gonna talk to people here and there, like people are gonna like come up to me, I'm gonna meet new people. Like my brother knows a lot of goddamn people, let me tell you. And a lot of people to this day still want to get to know my brother, still want to hang out with my brother, but my brother, again, is a very laid back person and is like, all right, if you want to hang out with me, you're gonna make the effort to hang out with me, right? And my brother is beyond laid back. Like, I haven't met a more laid back person than my brother ever. And that's just me being honest. This is not just me hyping my brother up. But as soon as he walks into a room, everybody's drawn to him. Everybody's drawn to him. Because he's not going to be the loudest in the room. He's not going to be the person to stand out as much as others. But he's going to be the person in the corner that's just laid back, and like you could feel his energy just by walking past him. And you're going to want to know him just by walking past him type thing. You know, he's got this energy and vibe that a lot of people don't have. And I think that's what makes a lot of people want to be friends with my brother. But people are just very drawn to him. Very, very drawn to him. And that's a quality that I admire. I admire the most. Like, I admire a lot of qualities about my brother, but that's the quality I always wish that I kind of had more of, was him just being himself, dude. Like, him just being able to be himself all the time, and everybody just being so drawn to that. It amazes me, because I'm not gonna lie to you, sometimes when I go out or like I hang out with certain people, I have this persona that I put on, or I have this wall that I put up. My brother has no walls, he's got no persona, he's just the most laid back dude, and I think that's amazing, because that's just him. It's not a persona, it's not something that he just makes up on the fly, like it's just how he is. And that's the quality I admire the most about my brother. But yeah, there's a lot to my brother that I think a lot of you guys are definitely gonna tune in to when he gets home and he's on the pod. There's gonna be a lot that you guys are going to want to hear, and you're gonna want questions asked and all of that stuff. I will answer one question for y'all though. I know a lot of y'all ladies are asking yourselves or me. I don't know. But because I know some of y'all have seen my brother. Not all of you have. But when you do, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be drawn to him. But I'll answer one question for y'all so that he doesn't have to when he hops on. But my brother is very much single, and he living his best life in Hawaii. He plays soccer. I'm basically building a Tinder profile for my brother right now, but he only has 2 exes. He's a good man. He's a good man. If I do say so myself, he was kind of raised with the best, you know. We're Irish twins. I'm the oldest. You know who he gets it from. But I'm in all seriousness, I'm just kidding. But my brother is single, and he is ready to mingle. So if you want to hit his line, I think you can. I'm not going to speak for my brother, but anyway, I kind of just did a lot, but you know the deal. But I think there's just so much to my brother. Like, he is just such an interesting human that I know a lot of you guys are gonna stay tuned just to meet him. And quite honestly, if I were you, I would too, because my brother, again, is just an astonishing human being. Very laid back, kind of has that I don't give a fuck attitude, but like secretly gives a little bit of a fuck. And I don't know. Y'all will have to see for yourselves. Come May 14th, May 13th when he gets home. I don't know when he's going to want to film. Probably as soon as he gets home. But, I don't know. There's so many moments that, like, I could have talked about today, and I'm almost at an hour, and I feel like I haven't really talked about my brother enough. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna see if I can find a funny ass memory of my brother and I. Cause, oh, he just snapped me and he looks sweaty as hell. Brother, you need to take a shower. But he, let me see. Oh, there's so many funny moments with my brother, dude. Like, Jesus Christ. No. Oh, there was a time where my brother and I in 2020, we, literally in the beginning of, or no, kind of the end of quarantine, where we just had this moment where we're like, we're gonna change it up. Let's dye our hair. And he bleached his hair, or he was trying to bleach his hair and then make it like Quentin Riggs. I don't know if y'all know who Quentin Riggs is, but at the time, he was a Sway LA boy, and he had a baby face, and he had this hair where it was like his natural hair, and then the top was like silver, like gray silver, like that kind of color. And my brother wanted to do that, and we all thought it would look great on him. It didn't end up working out. So my brother ended up with bleached orange hair. And let's just say it did not look the best. And he didn't really care, but it looked horrible. It looked awful. And I ended up dyeing my hair red. I didn't put any bleach in it or any of that because my mom didn't want me to damage my hair. I guess she didn't care if my brother damaged his hair, but anyways, that's not the point. I ended up dyeing my hair red, like putting red over my dark, and it turned out looking like shit, as box dye usually does, and my brother's hair was bleached orange. It was a scary moment. It was scary. But as time went on, though, his hair grew back in, it grew out, and it ended up looking really, really cool because the more he cut it and like the more like years went on, or years, I mean like months went on, he ended up, come my senior year, so, oh yeah, so as the years went on, it grew out, he would get it cut, and he ended up with kind of like frosted tips almost, like bleached, like blonde tips as like his hair was dark, and it looked really nice. It looked like he had highlights in his hair. So I guess, stupid things have good outcomes all the time, like JJ on Outer Banks says. Love that man, by the way. Oh, I guess there's another fun fact I could tell you about my brother. My brother's favorite Outer Banks character is Rafe. I don't know if that should be a red flag. I don't know if it is a red flag. I don't know, but that's my brother's favorite character in Outer Banks, and I don't know how I feel about it, because considering I love JJ so much, I just don't see how you could love somebody that has put the rest of them in through hell, you know? Like, Rafe's a bad guy. He's not a good guy. He's a victim as well, which is kind of cool. Like, if you think character development, it's not cool that he's a victim, but you know what? I'm kind of rambling. You guys know what I mean, but that's my brother's favorite character in Outer Banks. And, again, I don't know if that should be a red flag or not, but, anyways, what's some other things I could tell y'all to wrap this podcast up? My brother is not a big animal guy. He does not like animals very much. I think he's more of a reptile guy, which is kind of terrifying because my entire family is scared of reptiles. We don't like snakes, we don't like lizards, and I'm almost positive my brother loves those kind of animals. Don't ask me, ask him. No. These facts are kind of making my brother seem psychotic. My brother is not psychotic. I'm just saying, just putting it out there because I think I've kind of painted the picture in the last few statements that I've made that my brother is psychotic, and he's not. Don't worry, y'all. He's good. He's clean. He's a good time. He's a good guy. But I guess, y'all, to wrap up this podcast, I just wanted to say that I am, again, trying to get back on a decent schedule with posting these podcasts, and I'm going to try my best to upload more and more when I have time instead of like waiting each week, because I realize that some weeks might be busier than the others. So I'm going to try to, like, if I have a free week, I'm going to film as much as I can and then put them out as soon as I'm done editing them, so you guys have more content to watch. But with that being said, y'all, I'm super excited to be back. I'm super excited to build up more motivation to do these podcasts. I kind of look like I have a lazy eye right now, which is kind of scaring me. But it's just because I have no makeup on, and I kind of look a little scary because I just also took a shower, and I kind of look bald. And like I said, I have a McDonald's hairline and a big ass forehead. But we're just gonna own it. We're gonna own it. Yeah. You hear that, brother? I have a McDonald's hairline and a big ass forehead. What you gonna do about it? Funny thing is, my brother also has a big ass forehead, but his is just hidden with his fucking hair. I don't know. Like, anyway, I went on a little bit of a rampage there. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for the love and support on the podcast. I've continued to get so much love and support on these episodes, on these podcasts, and I could not be more grateful for each and every person who gives me the time of day and listens to these podcasts and watches these podcasts. You guys mean more to me than you know. If you guys have any questions that you want to hear on the pod, please feel free to DM me. I'm going to be posting polls soon. Please do not be shy. Answer those polls. Put some questions in there. Help us out a little bit so that we don't have to go digging for the questions as much. But with that being said, guys, make sure you do something for yourself today, tomorrow, and every day. I love you guys bunches, and stay safe out there. I love you guys. Bye.